Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
My name's Ethan from Coconut Brick Studios. This is my LEGO Star Wars Battle of Mygeeto mock. So this is from specifically Revenge of the Sith during Order 66. There's like all the different montages of different Jedi. And this is Ki-Adi-Mundi leading the Galactic Marines to the city of Mygeeto. They came across on a couple of bridges. And so this is the scene from the actual movie, and then I wanted to do a little bit more, so I included like the mountain where the actual city is as well, and then the bridge. Partially because I just wanted to add my own story and kind of do some of my own stuff with it as well, since the actual scene's like maybe 30 seconds long. And so I wanted to make sure I had like a full fleshed out story and something that you could look at after the bridge. So basically what we have here is Galactic Marines on this side, led by Jedi General Ki-Adi-Mundi, and they're pushing across this main bridge, and then you've got a second group down here pushing up against the droid forces. So this is a separatist-controlled city. This was kind of like one of their last strongholds at the end of the Clone Wars, and so kind of their main weapon of defense in this battle were these massive tri-droids, and you've got like the smaller ones right there, and they're basically just trying to hold the city, and the clones are trying to get to these anti-aircraft positions right here, so they can take them down and gunships can fly in, because I wanted to at least try and make it somewhat accurate of like, why not just fly in and bomb the city out? So like I wanted to have some kind of like explanation for why. So they're basically just pushing forward here into the city.
Yeah. I love what you've done with this build with the unique layout of having these large kind of bridge sections sticking out from the front. So what are some of the challenges with that? Because it's a very different type of build than what we normally see.
Yeah, so this was kind of a first for me, this section. I've done rock work in mountains, but it was a big challenge trying to get both bridge pillars to be at the exact same height, because with a mock this long, you're using multiple tables, and so certain tables are going to be at different heights from each other. So I had to get, I had to really pay attention to make sure these were the same height, because I think I built that one too tall, and then put the bridge on it, and it was like all messed up and stuff. So I had to really take my time to make sure they're the same height. But the biggest challenge, and this was actually on purpose, is I wanted to get this bridge to come into the mountain at an angle. Because a lot of LEGO, you're working with 90-degree angles, squares, rectangles, and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get something a little bit more natural, a little bit more dynamic to kind of break up the shape and structure of the build. So I have this bridge coming in at an angle, and actually this whole section right here is a bunch of wedge plates that I built coming out. That way the bridge could kind of plane into the mountain and then come off at an angle. And then right here, I actually put this upper section on a turntable. So if I were to take the bridge off, you can actually spin it 360 degrees. That allowed me to kind of keep that pillar squarely underneath the bridge, and then allow the rest of the pillar to kind of be at an angle from everything else.
Yeah, I love that. I think it turned out amazing. I also love what you did with kind of the bridge design itself, with the mix of kind of the white and gray, and then even kind of chipped off sections. So how did you kind of plan that ahead in your mind, or sketch that out at all? How did this come together?
So the color scheme was kind of, I wanted to go with a real snowy vibe. There's a lot of snow there. It's no Hoth, thankfully, because I didn't want to do Hoth, but there was enough there that I knew it would be a great highlight to really bring some color to the mock, because there's a lot of gray, as you can see, mountain bridges. And then the chunks, I kind of really just had to visualize like almost like something smashing into the bridge and like hitting it. And there is some reference material, and I noticed big chunks had been blown out of the bridge. So I just tried to kind of play around with different wedge plates and get a good looking shape. And then to kind of make the bridge feel more realistic, I put those little yellow hoses to make it look like there were wires or something running through the bridge. And then where the chunks fell through, they kind of like exposed the inner workings and stuff like that, just to give a little bit more color and detail, because that yellow I feel like really helps make the bridge pop a little bit more.
Absolutely. You've got some great minifigs here as well. So where did you get a lot of those parts from, and weapons and the minifigures themselves?
So this is accumulation of a lot of collecting. I've got some official LEGO battle droids, super battle droids. I've got some Clone Army custom droids. They just released a new type of droid that has movable legs. So that's how I was able to get some of those droids up there that can actually look like they're walking, which is a huge game changer. I didn't realize it was going to make that much of a difference, but having droids that aren't just, kind of standing around waiting to get shot, it looks a lot better. And the Galactic Marines were the hardest because LEGO hasn't given us one yet. So I had to individually paint and decal each one of those.
Wow,
over the
very impressive.
Yeah, over the course of a lot of months and a lot of frustrating live streams because some of those decals did not want to cooperate. And then up top, Ki-Adi-Mundi is just the official LEGO one. So it's kind of a combination of third-party LEGO sellers, myself, and then official LEGO figs.
So that takes us to kind of the cliff face in these buildings. What was your general kind of architectural approach with these?
So I wanted to try and capture the aesthetic of Mygeeto without being too accurate, because these are supposed to be hundreds of feet tall, just massive skyscrapers. But I noticed each one of them was basically constructed of a small, or not a small, but a large dish with blue windows in between. So I just took that building design and then scaled it down to something more like an individual home. So this does look kind of more like a village than Mygeeto City, but I feel like it still captures the essence of what Mygeeto is. And then I bought some rectangle square puck lights that are battery powered, so I can just point a remote at these and turn them on instead of have to pull the individual panels off and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So this is kind of where I was able to play around the most, because you don't ever see Mygeeto in the movies. And so I was able to just put just random like little stories of clones coming in. These guys are ambushing some droids working at this power station right here. And then over here we've got some more custom minifigs. That's a custom Watt Tambor. So this was just a little running joke from the Clone Wars. This guy's always trying to get off world anytime the Republic comes to attack, and he's always got like hordes of treasure that he's just forcing these battle droids to take. So these guys were in the process of looting his treasure hoard, and he just happened to come over here with his droids, and he's not very happy right now because he's about to get robbed. So that was just, I liked doing fun stuff like this, and I needed to cover up the backside of this road. I didn't want to have a massive battle up there and then just an empty bridge behind it. And so this is like a little command station. These are hollow tables, and this is supposed to be like a hologram of the whole planet with like a Republic fleet coming in to attack. So they're basically just watching their defenses crumble, just trying to find the right time to flee.
Yeah. It's really cool to get this different perspective here of the city, and you see some more of like plant life and details and things as well. But you also get to see behind the scenes on the way that you support a massive structure like this. So what is this internal structure like?
This looks like kind of a mess now because it was a rough travel. I traveled pretty far with this, and so some of the pillars are kind of messed up. But I basically just tried to create as many large support pillars as I could, and I'm starting to use this technique of putting a gap of 2 studs between the bricks to kind of cover up more surface area but not use as many bricks, because if this was all solid it would have just used up a lot more pieces, and it's a lot lighter this way. So I was just trying to find ways of like, how can I support the most with the fewest amount of bricks possible.
Yeah. How long did setup for this whole layout take you once you got to BrickFair?
I was mostly done by Thursday afternoon. I left some of the roofs off because I was afraid if people might bump the table that some of the roofs would collapse because they are extremely fragile, but nothing happened, so I was basically done by like Thursday afternoon.
And then you've got the rock work itself up front there. So what was that process like, just getting that size and getting all those pieces down to create the cliff?
So rock work is one of my favorite things to build. I'm a big nature guy. I love going outside. I worked outside for a number of years. And so I really tried to envision like erosion with this cliff. Like, what does a natural rock face look like? Because, you know, most rock faces are shaped by water, wind, all kinds of stuff like that. So I visualized in my head just waterfalls coming down, rain, like what kind of channels is that going to cut into the rock? What kind of shapes is it going to form? And then I basically just play around, put some slopes together, take them apart, and then I tried to work in as many patches of white as I could to make it look like snow is piling up on different spots. And there's actually one spot over here. I can't remember, someone on one of my live streams suggested using the Lego horn pieces as icicles, which I thought was a great idea from them. So it just gave it a little bit of extra realism and some non-brick pieces. Because that's one thing I try not to do, is have too many bricks to where it looks bulky and blocky. And so little things like that help make it look a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah. So you mentioned your live streams there. Where can people find your work online, and what types of content are you kind of putting out there as you do these builds?
Yeah, so if people are interested, if you know there's a certain part of this mock you want to see come together, my channel's called Coconut Brick Studios. This is basically what I do. I pick scenes from Star Wars and build them as big as I can, you know, as big as my studio will fit anyways. And sometimes I'll do like the occasional build challenge, but it's just mostly Lego Star Wars building content.
Do you have plans to take this build to other shows, or are you always kind of working on something new for the future?
Yeah, so this one's done for now. Thankfully, I'm getting real tired of looking at it because I finished it a couple months ago, and I was like, all right, I should probably bring this to a convention, so it's just been sitting there. So I'm actually gonna gently as possible, break it tonight and get it into chunks to where I can drive it home, which is a big relief because I was really stressed driving here. Just like worried, every little pothole, I was just waiting for the whole thing to collapse. So I'm really happy to finally be able to take it apart and get started on the next one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Keep up the great work, and thank you so much for taking us through the build.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.